Okay, so it's kind of midweek, not quite Friday, not quite Thursday. It is 9:09 a.m. Arizona time, 2023, 0907. So, a lot of things have happened in the last week. A lot of things have been going on. A lot of stuff I'm never going to talk about. But I have a few things I will. And, of course, this is for documentation purposes. So, I'm going to go ahead and go through that. Little background on what I'm going to be talking about today is the prevalence of organized crime in the United States, especially as it's interwoven into the military and particularly any kind of government agency to various degrees. Like it or not, organized crime and American anything are so tightly intertwined you can't separate the two. Not right now. And that's one of the main focuses and objectives of CALM, is to completely decouple that relationship. Okay? Not necessarily through elimination of individuals, but sometimes. But I mean, of basically bringing the ones who will into a legitimate lifestyle and something that they can live with and that they're happy with. Like it or not, we are many generations into a situation here, for the most part, where individuals are born into a condition of servitude in some kind of a criminal element. It is absolutely intertwined and interwoven into America. Okay? And if you want your country to be the way it should be, then it should be a high priority and interest in solving that particular issue. And that's one of the main focuses of CALM. Okay? When I talk about secret combinations and eliminating them, in particular the Sons of Perdition, they have a stranglehold on our entire governmental apparatus. Okay? They just do. You don't see it, they don't talk about it, but this is an extremely intimately interwoven enterprise. Okay? And if it's bad and it's happening and it's organized, then for damn sure they're involved at some level. Okay? In that the military, for example, specifically recruits for individuals who are adjacent to or in any kind of organized criminal enterprise, in particularly the secret combinations, especially the higher order ones. From the Sons of Perdition, they generally like to bring them into the officers' pool, but for the others, generally enlistment is the way to go. For secret combinations and orders, particularly like street gangs, cartels, they love sending their guys in for a tour of duty, especially during an active tour, for combat experience and training. They love it. It's it gets the discipline that they need, and a lot of them already have it, but it gives them the discipline they need. It gets them the exposure to weapons. It gives them contacts out the wazoo, especially in the government, for later things that they get involved in. Okay? I know you don't want to hear that, but there is a very high degree of this kind of interaction happening. In the recruitment process itself, there's an overt attempt or procedure to document these kinds of things, and to ask questions about it at the recruitment level, but honestly it's something that's highly desirable internally in the military, especially in specific circles involving those adjacent to intelligence, especially those in the military who are functional CIA assets or agents who are masked. Okay, and there are bunches of those. So, for purposes of my contact and what I've been adjacent to, and those who have had interactions or contacts with me, it has been those of the cartels, white gangs in particular, white supremacist organizations like the skinheads in particular, also the by association, the Texas Syndicate. For other gangs, Crips in particular, I get along with them okay. But truth be told about how these gangs even function, a lot of the times their control centers are actually in prisons. And a lot of what happens out on the street, or things that are major and standard out in the public view, are actually determined and dictated from inside prisons. Okay, like it or not. And while in prison, the top levels of those organizations talk to each other interracially. They're the only ones who do. The other ones do not associate. But their top guys, their top hats, they do have certain agreements that they go with, and sometimes, especially between the cartels and the syndicate guys, they work together on a lot of shit. It would probably scare you, but they do. They're highly interchangeable and agreeable with certain levels of contract, and there's a lot of interfacing between the two. My brother was in the Texas prison system as a corrections officer for 10 years, and not only did we both have contacts and interactions with the white supremacist groups, but we also had many opportunities and interfaces with cartels. He was not necessarily favored of them, but he was respected. By extension, I got reviewed, I was respected, just in terms of being able to follow through on what I said I would do. I never got involved in the organized criminal aspect of it, but there were some of them who were aware of what I was doing, which was a little disconcerting sometimes, because nobody knew. So it's interesting that they did. So going into this week, gonna just take a look at this text here. So the operational overview for this week, we had some direct actions in Mexico that necessitated a parlay. Okay, let's say some direct actions in Mexico. There were issues, long-standing ones that had to get worked out, and these were controlling areas operationally in cartels. Okay, so had a parlay with the Beast. This is specifically his area of operations. He's very involved there. He's well known there. I work in some capacity in relationship to that, but I do not operationally control anything. I might have some advisory things, but that's it. Okay. I've been a long-standing advocate of drawdown and conversion, and it's not necessarily something that they have listened to, obviously, but we'll see how it goes from here. So out of this parlay that we had with the Beast, and by extension further into like the root areas in Mexico, grassroots level, there's a wait and see approach. Everybody understands what we're trying to do, and they see the necessity of it, and they want it. They just don't necessarily believe that we'll be able to accomplish it, and they've got kind of a wait and see approach. Also this week we had a continuing action against the Sons of Perdition. Devastating to them, very successful to us. We took some losses, but they took almost all of them again. We also started operations DeepClean and Resolute. So in the Parlay with the Beast, that was yesterday. It was extended. We talked about a lot of things. Came to some agreements, of course, but also outlined, kind of a high-level course of action and why we're taking it at this time and in this way. So this is the first time we've ever had a level of agreement like this. We've always been at odds with each other. Not in terms of like a pissing contest kind of thing. It's just frequently we were pitted against each other. And it wasn't good, man. So we're not in a situation like that anymore. We're kind of looking out for each other now. And we're talking about, well, what do we do from here? Like, okay, all the government shit, that's all retarded as fuck. What do we want to do? Okay. This is descriptive of that. So the pretext here. Mexico is explicitly in the Beast's area of operations control. It is understood that in the U.S. there are a minimum of 1.3 million deaths related to cartel product distribution since 1999. It's actually higher than that, but that's what you could get out of general stats. If I had to call it, I would say it's at least twice that. Okay, realistically, if you want to be real about it, it's double that. It's probably closer to 3 million people have died in the U.S. Okay. It is understood that there are at least 400,000 direct action casualties of cartel operations in Mexico alone since 2000. Honestly, it's much higher than that also, at least double. But, look at who's counting. You can't exactly trust them, can you? Cocaine is specifically not addressed in this discussion. It's off the table for now, pending review of this initiative at a later time. Cocaine mainly is that's a northern South America, Central America product. They want to see how this is going to go before they want us doing anything related to that. Besides, it's a long-standing establishment, and there is a huge amount of money and resources dedicated to that. I'll be working with I'll be working with another group on that, but Beast will be involved in that too. But we're not going to even think about talking about that or modifying that until later. That's a really touchy subject, okay? And we're not going to mess with it right now. So it is agreed. We have faith in God. We will accomplish the following. What we are doing. 1. Stopping the monetary flow of cartel operations into U.S. black projects. 2. Rejecting all U.S. command and control compliance for illicit trafficking. 3. Unifying familial controlling interests domestically for conversion into legitimate business. 4. Tapering and eliminating illicit opiate distribution, especially fentanyl, and destroying that product. 5. Ceasing compliance with the U.S., quote, war on drugs, unquote, initiatives, which are duplicitous and deadly to the civilian population. 6. Prioritizing Mexico in Mexico. Why we are doing it. 1. Cartel operations are part of a direct cash flow net piped into U.S. and other international operations with no accountability, high lethality, and high collateral damage to the population. 2. Competition in cartel operations is usually done as a control mechanism to assure foreign, meaning U.S. and other, controlling interests, especially those rooted in the CIA. 3. A pact between cartel families and operatives is necessary to assure mutual security and legitimization conversion. Almost all members or participants in cartel operations are third to fifth generation individuals, most having been born into the service of the organizations. 4. It is recognized and lamented the death toll in the U.S. and Canada from certain cartel products has been so high. These product distributions have been previously complied with as a matter of avoiding retaliation from U.S. government affiliated operations. The cartels no longer fear U.S. retaliation and are terminating this relationship. 5. The quote war on drugs unquote initiatives were one aspect of a holistic approach to actually facilitate trafficking. Command and control centers were U.S. government operations for the most part. Quote wins in the quote war on drugs unquote are usually scripted events which are predetermined. This is intolerable, and any relationship with these organizations is terminated. 6. The cartels are going to legitimize in every possible facet and retire illicit operations in the most expedient ways possible. This generally cannot be done simply by, quote, pulling the plug, unquote. The operational implementation is graduated to assure the least possible negative collateral effects. Consideration for the employment and well-being of participating members is a high priority concern. These operations are deeply woven into the fabric of the U.S. and Mexico. It's going to take some time to repair, or to make repair. So, objectives clear to this movement. 1. Legitimization of previously termed, quote, organized criminal, quote, unquote, family groups, especially where birthright and responsibility for membership is enforced. 2. Uniting cartel family groups in cooperation of rejection of foreign controller interference. 3. Development of alternative opportunities, disengaging from and divesting from deadly entanglements that do not promote stability and prosperity. 4. Divorce from clandestine services. 5. Create a legitimate and high-quality export market for marijuana products in particular as it becomes more acceptable and is legalized for general use. 6. Develop natural treatment plans for PTSD in particular by redirecting the cartel science groups into development of psychedelic applications for treatment of highly traumatized individuals. This is targeted to be done in tandem with more effective non-pharmaceutical counseling efforts. And if you don't know, in Mexico, that's actually a very much needed thing, man. That is a highly traumatized population. If you have any awareness of what's happened there over the last 20 years, you understand that for sure. They've been absolutely brutalized by this shit. And those days are coming to an end, man. They just are. We're gonna make damn sure that happens. Okay? So just the whole situation is disgusting. The cartels are sick of it. Everyone's sick of it. Everyone's completely had it. Okay? And this stuff has nothing to do with what's going on with the border crossings and that type of thing. This is an entirely separate issue. We're handling it as an entirely separate issue. Okay? If the U.S. government wants to have its head up its fucking ass about how it handles immigration in this retarded ass system, that's one thing. But the push and the movement of illicit product back and forth over the border, drugs up, guns down, we're just not going to do that shit anymore, man. Okay? Besides, cartels, they have enough guns, man. They don't need any more. They got all the bullets they need. They got the guns they need. They just, they've got it all. Besides, they're completely intertwined with the government, just like they are here. Okay? Everyone is sick and tired of the war, man. Okay? Just for relative purposes here, okay? It is understood that there are at least 400,000 direct action casualties of cartel operations in Mexico alone. And it's more than that, actually. That's more than the United States lost in World War II in direct action. Do you understand that? Look it up. Moving on. So, of course, we're at war with the Sons of Perdition. We always will be until there's no such thing anymore. So, we had some preliminary strikes preparatory to things that were coming. This was between 2023-09-05 and 2023-09-06, overnight and then into the night again. So we started along with that Operation DeepClean. Talk more about that in a minute. InterPrincipality strike groups conducted preparatory raids on Sons of Perdition holdings, core aspects for the universal organization of the Sons of Perdition were completely destroyed with all inhabitants. The extent of these operations was devastating to the Sons of Perdition organization, particularly by destroying the central illicit contract guarantor sector. So in these strikes, the following happened. The seat of power was destroyed on Kremlarian. Route enforcement seat was destroyed on Toral Lanial. Contract security and relay group headquarters was destroyed on Glenlark. Contract guarantor control was destroyed on Kremtalat. Enforcement command recruitment pool was destroyed on Kel-Talal. All very good moves, by the way, and they don't have backups for those. They're just gone, and that is going to trickle down, like particularly if you're in the families here, mafia, if you're in those, you're going to start hearing about that shit almost immediately, because there's some of the things that you're plugged into that just went blink and they're gone, didn't they? Yep. They're not coming back either, never. We also did some interdiction operations early AM on 2023-09-06. So on 3, Calm sunk several cargo vessels in the last few days, carrying illicit small arms. Crews were generally transported to a safe location. Some weren't, but it just depends. Several shipments containing human cargo were intercepted and the people were taken up. A number of deaths were encountered in the shipping containers. So, yes, we did find dead people in the containers. They just have them stuffed in these shipping containers, okay? It's just disgusting. Like, did you know that's what's going on? Like, really? It's reminiscent of the cattle cars, man. Okay? And it just, the whole thing is fucking nasty. Like, how... This is known, man, at the ports. Like, it's more common than you think. It's disgusting, and we're not doing that shit. Wherever we find that, we're gonna have a serious disagreement with the people that are doing it. Drug shipments were specifically ignored pending other initiative outcomes. So previous to that Parlay outcome, we're going to let the cartels decide and figure out how they're going to manage the conversion process, man. We're not going to tell them what the fuck to do. We have certain requirements that we're looking for. But we see this mainly as a family matter of, okay, long term, do you want to live well, or do you want to keep on looking over your shoulder all the time, man? I know which one I want for my family and for all of you. This is not a hard thing to figure out. So Operations DeepClean and Resolute. Operation Resolute has the objective of destroying all illicit capabilities of secret combinations wherever they are and whoever insists on keeping them. Burn is active and will be used liberally. Illicit assets, however valuable, will be destroyed. Yeah, so when we find, a warehouse of ill-gotten gains, for example, we're going to take that shit out and we're going to burn it. And I don't care what's in it. It's just going to get burned. Okay? We're not keeping that shit. Look at how it was accumulated. Look who got it. Look why they got it. Look how they got it. Look who died for it. It's got blood all over it. And it's going to fucking burn. Okay? We're not using that in any way, shape, or form. Besides, we don't need money. We don't use it. We don't operate with money. Okay? Sons of Perdition do. They're all about money. And man, oh man, it makes them easy to find. Top hat on this operation, Resolute, is Jamalakor. Yep, he's being given the reins on this to see how he handles, in terms of the InterPrincipality government, how he handles a very large scale operation. Okay, and he's doing pretty well so far. We're all pleased. Okay, he's doing a very good job. So there are a number of advisors, ancillary, and in support of Jamalakor in these endeavors. That is nondescript to you. It's confidential. So there's a tandem linkage between Resolute and Operation DeepClean. The DeepClean top hat is one. One's a female, a particular one, and she is very, very fucking good at what she does. She's extremely smart and extremely fast. Damn, I love her. She's really good. But anyway, advisors in this one are nondescript also, confidential. Operation DeepClean targets the, quote, tentacles of secret combinations in especially high-density population environments, wherever they are. It is desired to convert individuals involved in secret combinations into legitimate life roles and to help promote their family stability and long-term success. It is not negotiable. Secret combination operations will be permanently closed and disposed of. Military confidential operations are not considered secret combinations. Non-military intelligence organizations are generally considered secret combinations when they conduct themselves as criminally organized, especially committing to acts of murder or knowingly conducting aggressive operations where there is an anticipated collateral death toll. These are under close observation at this time. Individuals who keep operations of the darkness running on 3 will be eliminated after a cease and desist warning is ignored in some cases. Egregious cases will receive no warning. Always Perfection, Grace, and Royal One are briefed but not operationally involved in Resolute or DeepClean. This is necessary to distinguish their efforts toward maintaining ambassadorship and good relations. So, I'm sorry for the high density of information there, but, this is for documentation purposes, man. The general attitude and demeanor of those in principality level is very enthusiastic. I'll talk about some some outcomes here, or some initiatives that are started here. So one initiative that's specifically started is Information Concurrency Program. This fits, anything we're doing fits in with the crystalline configuration. So no overlap, high effectiveness, highly organized. Okay, task operational structures. Okay, so the concurrency program, you could consider it like a news organization that is highly plugged in, 1, but 2, actually factual. Not like the news you watch. So they're more or less embeds at the collection or intake level of information, and they screen out for confidentiality on the spot. Okay? We don't have a bunch of bullshit competitive crap going on with the same news restated 86 different fucking times, man. We just have an embed who delivers a concurrency report, and that's compiled, and everyone gets it. Okay, and it's very focused. It's very thorough, as thorough as it can be, but also it's broad. It's broad scope. So in just a little while, you can obtain and understand quite a bit of information about what's going on principality level without having to go digging all over the place for it. Okay, there was a need for that arose with me and with Jamalakor, but we went ahead and extended that out to principality level because there's a major push going on right now and everybody is in. It's all in. Okay, this isn't some little like, oh well, we might do this. No, we're all in on it, man. We're gonna do it. Okay, so there's that. There's also the formalization of the creation of a task operational structure that is a relief organization, but it's generally understood that it's a women's relief organization. They run it. It encompasses quite a few things, including like youth development, participation, family stabilization. After, for example, if someone gets KIA'd, they don't just get the notification and counseling. They get, they get the family support that's organized by this relief organization. Okay, and the follow through is very, very good. They also call out things that they see societally that we need to work on, and they're, between them and the concurrency teams, between the two, we have a high success rate in identifying things that threaten our stability. Okay, for a lot of things that are external attempts on undermining our stability, we know about fucking immediately, man. Okay, and we handle that as military threat, military priority. That's why you can't crack this nut, man. Okay, not at the principality level. I mean, you can try to fuck shit up here, but good luck getting it there. You're not going to, never. Yeah, so there's those two things. In that, we also created another task operational structure that interfaces the ambassadorship with those two, to kind of take the pressure off the top level ambassadorship, and give them basically a support group that channels all issues to them and prioritizes those things for them, so they don't have to sit there and try to do that on the fly. It's been needed for a while, and we finally put something into place that's a little bit more formal. We're going to be working on developing that out, but so far so good. You know how this is going to go for me. Not good in the long run, but you'll see a very certain measure of success happen before that time. For Beast, well, you're also going to see that measure of success happen for him, and he's going to be fucking pissed by the time this particular episode rolls over, because he's going to have very much hands-on developing this thing out, okay, and being right there when it does. He's going to know exactly why it fails, and he's going to put you in a chokehold so fucking tight you can't move. Okay, if you want to know, well, why is the beast system going to take hold? It's going to take hold because you stupid fuckers are going to undermine this one, or your generations onward will. Because they're just that dumb. Okay? But anyway, like I've said before, this is not the implementation of a one world government at all, whatsoever. Okay? It's just not. We are looking to encourage individuals and families to take the reins on what they got in their hands right now and improve things. And one of the things that we're going to be giving back to that is direction on advancement. Pure and simple. You guys want to actually go to other planets and shit like that, okay. But there's no fucking way that's going to happen how you are now. You got to get better, man. You know, you think it's a good fucking excuse that, oh, I grew up poor, therefore I get to shoot people in the street? Fuck you. We're not putting up with that shit. You know, oh, I was born into a mafia family, therefore I have to designate people to waste and, you know, manage hookers and drugs and all of that shit. So I'm going to keep doing that for the rest of my life. Fuck you. You're not going anywhere. Not only that, but we're probably going to be kicking your door in at some point. Okay? Just saying. These things are coming right up. Okay? We're going to do it our way. And it's going to be that way. Okay? And anyone who fucks with that, well, they're going to either need to get out of the way or we're going to move them. And that's how this is going to go. So, don't ever forget, of course, that this is in charge. It is. Have an excellent fucking day.